The Valoran ship appeared in Earth's orbit on a quiet Tuesday morning. Its crystalline hull shimmered like a diamond against the blackness of space. Earth's military detected it first, scrambling fighter jets that looked tiny next to the massive alien vessel. Captain Tak stood on the bridge of Earth's largest military ship, his hands clasped behind his back as he studied the alien craft on the view screen. "Sir, they're broadcasting a message on all frequencies," Lieutenant Hannah said, her fingers moving quickly across her console. "Let's hear it," Tak ordered, his voice calm despite his racing heart. The message was simple: "We come in peace and friendship. We are the Valorans." Within hours, world leaders gathered to respond. President Min addressed the Valorans with cautious optimism. "Earth welcomes you with open minds and hopes for peaceful exchange." 3 days later, the Valorans sent down a shuttle. It landed in a field outside Seoul, where a diplomatic team waited. Ambassador Rin was the first to emerge, tall and slender with pale blue skin that seemed to glow from within. 4 more Valorans followed her. "We have watched your world for many years," Rin explained as she sat across from human representatives. "Your species shows great promise." The Valorans revealed they had mastered faster-than-light travel centuries ago. They offered to share this technology with Earth. "We believe in cooperation, not conquest," Rin said with a gentle smile. Scientists from both worlds began working together. Dr. Yun led Earth's research team, spending long hours with Valoran engineers to understand their crystal-based technology. "It defies our physics," Dr. Yun told Captain Tak one evening as they reviewed progress. "But it works. In 5 years, we could have our own FTL ships." It took only 3. The first human-built starship, Unity, launched with a crew of both humans and Valorans. Captain Tak commanded the mission with Rin serving as his advisor. They visited 3 nearby star systems before returning to a hero's welcome. Trade agreements followed. Earth provided raw materials and art, while the Valorans shared medical advancements that cured several human diseases. Cultural exchanges flourished, with human music becoming especially popular among young Valorans. But not everyone in the galaxy was pleased with this new alliance. 6 months after Unity's historic flight, a delegation from the Galactic Council requested a meeting with Earth and Valoran representatives. The council members arrived in ships that dwarfed even the Valoran vessels. Their designs were angular and threatening, covered in what appeared to be weapon systems. Councillor Quan led the delegation. He was short with gray skin and 6 fingers on each hand. His eyes were completely black, making his expressions hard to read. "The council oversees all major interstellar affairs," Quan explained during the formal meeting. "We ensure stability and prevent unfortunate conflicts." Ambassador Rin seemed tense throughout the meeting. When the council representatives left, she pulled President Min and Captain Tak aside. "The council claims to protect peace, but they enforce uniformity," she whispered. "They'd eliminated species they deemed unpredictable before. Our standing has protected us so far, but your rapid advancement concerns them." "Are they threatening us?" Tak asked bluntly. "Not directly," Rin replied. "But we should accelerate our defense planning." Over the next year, Earth and Valora deepened their alliance. Valoran engineers helped design shield technology for Earth's growing fleet of ships. Human military strategists shared tactical concepts with the traditionally peaceful Valorans. The Galactic Council watched these developments with growing concern. Councillor Quan filed report after report about the dangerous potential of humans and their influence on the Valorans. "They lack proper respect for established order," Quan told the full council. "The humans push boundaries without understanding consequences, and now they're pulling the Valorans down this reckless path." Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Tak was promoted to Admiral and given command of Earth's first combat-ready starship fleet. 5 vessels equipped with both human and Valoran technology prepared for their maiden voyage. "We hope for peace," Admiral Tak told his crews before launch. "But we must be ready for anything." As Earth's ships departed for their first patrol mission alongside Valoran vessels, Counselor Quan called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. "The time for observation has ended," he declared. "We must act decisively before these humans become a greater threat." The Council voted. The decision was made. The fate of Earth and Valora was sealed, though neither world yet knew it. Ambassador Rin stood before the Galactic Council chambers, her blue skin reflecting the harsh lights above. She had come to present a formal alliance agreement between Valora and Earth, hoping the Council would accept both worlds as equals in galactic affairs. "The humans have proven themselves to be worthy partners," Rin stated, her voice clear and confident. "They learn quickly, but respectfully. They seek knowledge, not dominance." The Council members sat in a semicircle on raised platforms. Counselor Quan leaned forward, his black eyes unreadable. "We have reviewed your proposal," Quan said slowly, "and we have reached a decision." A sudden humming filled the chamber. Rin felt a strange vibration through her feet just as her communication device signaled an urgent message. Before she could check it, energy barriers sprang up around her and her small team. "What is the meaning of this?" she demanded, pressing her hands against the shimmering field. Quan stood up. "The Council has determined that the human influence on galactic stability is unacceptable. Your people's choice to align with them cannot be allowed to continue." On Earth, Admiral Tak was in the middle of a routine meeting when emergency alarms blared throughout the command center. Lieutenant Hannah rushed in, her face pale. "Sir, we're receiving distress signals from every Valoran colony simultaneously," she reported, bringing up a galactic map on the main screen. Red warning lights blinked across the display where Valoran worlds were located. The first video transmission came through seconds later. A Valoran city was burning. Council warships hung in the sky, raining down energy weapons on defenseless buildings. The transmission cut off abruptly. "Get me President Min immediately," Tak ordered, his voice tight with controlled fury. Across the galaxy, the systematic destruction of Valoran civilization unfolded with brutal efficiency. The peaceful species had few defenses. Their shield technology, designed primarily for navigation and environmental protection, failed against the Council's military-grade weapons. On Valora Prime, the Valoran homeworld, children were being evacuated to underground shelters when the first Council ships appeared. The planetary defense grid, recently upgraded with Earth technology, managed to down 2 enemy vessels before being overwhelmed. Back on Earth, world leaders gathered in an emergency session. Video feeds from the few surviving Valoran outposts showed scenes of devastation. Billions of Valorans were already dead or missing. President Min addressed the somber gathering. "The Galactic Council has revealed its true nature. They expected us to stand by while they slaughtered our allies." She paused, looking at each face in the room. "I propose we show them how humans respond to betrayal." The vote was unanimous. Admiral Tak received his orders within the hour. Earth's fleet, though small compared to the Council forces, was immediately mobilized. Every available ship was prepared for combat, even those still in the testing phase. "We have reports that a pocket of Valorans are holding out on their colony in the Cygnus system," General Jun informed Tak. "They've established a defensive perimeter using modified mining equipment. It won't last long." "Then we better get there quickly," Tak replied, studying the tactical display. "How many ships can we deploy immediately?" 7 combat-ready vessels, sir. 4 more can launch within 12 hours. Tak nodded grimly. "We'll take what we have now. The Valorans don't have 12 hours. As Earth prepared its military response, Ambassador Rin and her team remained prisoners in the Council chamber. From their energy cell, they watched as Counselor Quan received regular updates on the assault. "Why are you doing this?" Rin asked, her voice heavy with grief. "We have never threatened you." Quan approached the barrier. "Your species was acceptable when you were predictable. Humans are chaotic, innovative in dangerous ways. Your alliance with them upset the balance we have maintained for millennia. So you murder billions to maintain your control." Rin's voice shook with anger. "We eliminate threats before they can grow. Quan replied coldly. The humans will be next. A junior council member rushed into the chamber, whispering urgently to Quan. His expression changed from confidence to concern. Tak nodded. Install them immediately. As Earth's improvised fleet prepared to launch, citizens gathered in fields and rooftops to watch. Children held handmade signs wishing the ships good luck. Many people brought blue flowers, the color of Valoran's skin, and released them into the wind as the ships rose through the atmosphere. On the bridge of the Vengeance, Admiral Tak received one final transmission from Earth. Admiral, President Min said, her image slightly distorted on the screen, you carry the hopes of two worlds. Remember, we don't need to win every battle. We just need to show the Council that their actions have consequences. Tak nodded. We won't let you down. As Earth grew smaller behind them, Lieutenant Hannah approached the Admiral. Course laid in, sir. All ships report ready. Then let's bring the fight to them, Tak said quietly. For Earth and Valora. The 16 ships accelerated in perfect formation, then vanished into the darkness of space, carrying humanity's vengeance to the stars. The Council's supply station orbiting a gas giant in the Rigel system had never needed heavy defenses. For thousands of years, no one had dared attack Galactic Council facilities. The board security officers monitored their sensors with little interest, playing games on secondary screens. An alarm suddenly blared. 3 unidentified ships had appeared from nowhere, already inside the station's defensive perimeter. Impossible, the lead officer muttered, frantically activating the station's shields. No ships could approach without detection. But the Earth vessels had used a Valoran navigation technique, skimming the gas giant's atmosphere to mask their approach. Before the Council shields fully engaged, Admiral Tech's flagship launched Dr. Eon's harmonic disruptors. The devices floated toward the station, looking harmless until they activated. Suddenly, the station's shields flickered and failed completely. Fire, Tak ordered calmly. Precision strikes disabled the station's weapons and communication systems. No Council reinforcements would arrive in time. We have 15 minutes, Tak told his boarding teams. Take everything useful and plant the charges. The Earth soldiers moved with practiced efficiency, downloading Council databases and seizing critical supplies. They placed explosives at key structural points, then retreated to their ships. As they pulled away, the station erupted in a series of controlled explosions. It didn't destroy the facility entirely, but ensured it would be useless for months. First strike successful, Lieutenant Hannah reported. No casualties on either side. Tak nodded with satisfaction. That's how we'll win this war. Not through destruction, but by making the cost of their campaign too high to bear. Similar raids occurred simultaneously across Council space. Earth's small fleet, divided into even smaller strike teams, attacked with surgical precision. They targeted supply lines, communication relays, and fuel depots, the infrastructure of war rather than military targets. The Council was unprepared for this approach. Their massive warships sat helplessly as Earth vessels struck and vanished before they could respond. Council commanders, trained in conventional warfare, struggled to adapt to humanity's unconventional tactics. After 2 weeks of successful raids, Admiral Tak received intelligence about a Council prison world where captured Valorans were being held. Among them was Ambassador Rin. It's heavily defended, General Jun warned during their secure communication. A direct assault would be suicide. Then we won't attack directly, Tak replied. He turned to his tactical officer. Show me the planet's supply schedule. The plan they developed was audacious. Earth forces hijacked a Council supply ship bound for the prison world. Disguised as Council personnel, a small team led by Captain Han landed on the planet. While pretending to unload supplies, they mapped security systems and located prisoner areas. That night, as the prison's guard rotation changed, 3 Earth ships dropped from orbit, using the harmonic disruptors to create gaps in the planetary shield. Strike teams descended directly into the prison compound. Alarms blared as council guards scrambled to respond. But the Earth forces moved with precise coordination, disabling security systems and freeing prisoners section by section. Captain Han found Ambassador Rin in a high-security cell. The once dignified Valoran was thin and weak, but her eyes lit up at the sight of humans. "You came for us," she whispered, her voice rough from disuse. "Of course we did," Han replied, helping her stand. "Earth keeps its promises." As they escaped with over 3,000 Valoran prisoners, Council reinforcements arrived. A massive warship moved to cut off their retreat. "Our shields won't hold against that," Lieutenant Hanna warned as the Council vessel locked weapons on them. "We don't need shields," Tak responded. "We have something better." He activated the ship's communication. "Dr. Yun, is your new device ready?" "Ready, Admiral," the scientist confirmed from her station. "But it's untested at this scale. No time like the present." The advanced harmonic disruptor launched toward the Council warship. On impact, it didn't just disable their shields. It created a resonance cascade through their power systems. The massive vessel went dark, drifting helplessly as the Earth ships escaped with their rescued Valorans. Back on Earth, the return of Ambassador Rin and the other survivors was celebrated globally. In medical facilities, the rescued Valorans began recovering, sharing vital intelligence about Council operations. They never expected humans to fight this way. Rin told President Min during their reunion. "The Council trains its forces to follow strict protocols. Your unpredictability terrifies them." News of the rescue spread quickly through hidden Valoran resistance networks. Surviving Valorans who had been in hiding began sabotaging Council operations from within. As Admiral Tak planned their next operations, intelligence reports showed the Council withdrawing forces from outer systems to protect their core worlds. "They're retreating," Lieutenant Hanna observed with surprise. "Not retreating," Tak corrected her. "Consolidating. They're preparing for a decisive battle." He studied the tactical display showing Council movements. And so must we. 6 months of guerrilla warfare had pushed the Galactic Council to its breaking point. Their once mighty fleets now huddled protectively around their central command station, a massive ring-shaped structure orbiting a red dwarf star. The station housed the Council's leadership and coordinated all their military operations. "They believe it's impregnable," Admiral Tak said, addressing the commanders gathered on the Bridge of the Vengeance. Earth's fleet had grown to 47 ships, still small compared to Council forces, but battle-hardened and innovative. Ambassador Rin stood beside him, representing the Valoran resistance. Months of fighting had changed her. Mai Jung nodded. The Alliance had spent months evaluating Earth, learning everything they could about human civilization, the good and the bad. "Are they concerned about our divisions?" Mai Jung asked. "Our history of war?" "No," Ril answered. "All species have such histories. What matters is your capacity to overcome them." The Alliance Overseer, a being of a species called the Eldar, rose from the central position. Its voice was translated simultaneously into all Alliance languages, including Earth's major tongues. "Representatives of Earth," the Overseer began, "you stand at a threshold. For thousands of years, your people have looked to the stars and wondered if you were alone. Today, you take your place among the stellar community." Mai Jung stepped forward as rehearsed. "We come with open minds and hopeful hearts," she said, reciting the carefully crafted words that Earth's nations had agreed upon. "Before we complete this ceremony," the Overseer continued, "I must ask, why does Earth wish to join the Alliance? What do you believe you can contribute?" This wasn't part of the rehearsed ceremony. Mai Jung glanced back at her companions, seeing their surprise. She would need to answer from her heart. "We are young," she said after a moment. "Compared to most of you, we are children. We have much to learn. But perhaps that is our greatest strength." She stepped closer to the center of the chamber. "We see patterns where others see chaos. We find hope in desperate situations. We adapt and survive. These are human traits that we now offer to the Alliance. Mai Jung gestured to her companions. Jin Ho created communication where language failed. He Yun found cooperation where competition seemed inevitable. Sung Min understood alien technology through human intuition. Du Hyun recognized patterns in enemy behavior that had gone unnoticed for years. She faced the overseer directly. We don't bring the most advanced technology or the strongest weapons. We bring a new perspective, a different way of thinking. And most importantly, we bring our humanity, our creativity, our passion, our determination to build a better future. The chamber was silent for a long moment. Then the overseer spoke again. This is why Earth was chosen, it said. Not for your technology, which is primitive by our standards. Not for your resources, which are common throughout the galaxy. But for your unique perspective, your unpredictability, your humanity. The overseer gestured to the empty seat. Take your place, Ambassador Mai Jung of Earth. As Mai Jung walked to the 13th seat, she felt the weight of history on her shoulders. She was not just representing her country or even her planet. She was representing humanity itself, its potential, and its promise. When she sat down, the circle was complete. The overseer raised its arms, and the ceiling of the chamber became transparent, revealing the stars beyond. The alliance is strengthened today, the overseer declared. Earth joins our community not as a junior partner to be protected, but as an equal with unique contributions to make. Later, as the Earth delegation prepared to return to their quarters, Ril approached Mai Jung privately. There is something you should know, the alien said. The Vex attack was not random. Mai Jung frowned. What do you mean? The Council suspected the Vex might follow us to Earth. It was not entirely unexpected. You mean we were tested? Mai Jung asked, feeling the surge of anger. Earth was put at risk deliberately. Ril made a gesture that Jin Ho had taught her meant something like regret. Not deliberately. But the Council needed to know how humans would respond to a real crisis, not just to control challenges. Mai Jung considered this information carefully. I should be outraged, she finally said. But I understand the reasoning. You needed to know if we could handle the reality of joining your alliance. And you proved more capable than any expected. Ril said. The way your people came together, the solutions you found, it confirmed what some of us already believed about humans. And what is that? Mai Jung asked. That you are exactly what the alliance needs to survive what is coming. Mai Jung looked out at the stars, thinking about Earth below and the vast universe beyond. Humanity had always dreamed of reaching the stars. Now they were here, not as conquerors or explorers, but as partners in something greater than themselves. Whatever comes next, she said quietly, we'll face it together. As night fell on Earth below, lights from cities sparkled like reflections of the stars above. For the first time in human history, people looked up at the night sky knowing they were not alone, and that they had found their place among the stars. The Daro commander seemed skeptical. How would we time such an attack? And with what weapons? Our ship is not designed for offensive operations. Some men stepped forward. What about the adaptation devices from yesterday's challenge? They manipulate energy patterns. Could they be modified to create a targeted disruption pulse? The commander turned to a Daro scientist who had been observing the tests. After a brief discussion in their own language, the scientist nodded. Theoretically possible, the scientist said, but it would require precise targeting and timing. I can calculate that, Du Hyun said confidently, based on their previous attack patterns. He Yun felt the weight of the moment. Earth's first contact with alien life was now becoming Earth's first interstellar conflict. She looked at the three humans in the room, Jin Ho the linguist, Sung Min the engineer, and Du Hyun the strategist. Each brought different skills, different ways of thinking. Let us help, she said to the Duro commander. This is our world too. After a tense discussion among the Duro leadership, the commander agreed. We have limited time. The Vex will complete positioning within 2 hours. They worked frantically. Sungmin and the Daro scientists modified the adaptation devices to produce a focused energy pulse. Do-hyun analyzed Vex attack patterns to predict the exact moment of vulnerability. Jin-ho helped coordinate between teams, his translation skills proving vital as technical terms flew back and forth. Hae-yun moved between groups, seeing connections others missed. She noticed how Sungmin's modifications aligned with Do-hyun's timing calculations in ways neither had recognized. "We need to synchronize these systems," she said, bringing the teams together. "The pulse needs to match the exact frequency Do-hyun has identified." As they worked, the Vex ships completed their formation. The lead ship began powering its main weapon, a beam that could penetrate deep into Earth's atmosphere. Energy levels rising. A Daro officer reported. Estimated firing time in 3 minutes. The modified device was ready, but untested. It consisted of the 5 adaptation challenge components linked to the ship's main power system. Sungmin's hands moved quickly over the connections, making final adjustments. 2 minutes, the officer counted down. Do-hyun positioned himself at the targeting controls. "I need to time this perfectly," he said. "They'll begin their command sequence 5 seconds before firing." 1 minute. Hae-yun stood beside the Daro commander, watching the holographic display of the 3 Vex ships. Earth hung below them, beautiful and vulnerable. 30 seconds. Jin-ho joined them. "Whatever happens," he said quietly, "humans and Daro worked together. That means something." 10 seconds. Sungmin gave a thumbs up. The device was ready. 5 seconds. Do-hyun's fingers hovered over the controls. Command sequence initiating. Now. He activated the device. A pulse of energy, invisible but powerful, shot from the Daro ship directly at the lead Vex vessel. For a terrible moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the lead Vex ship's energy buildup faltered, its weapon power down. The other 2 ships began moving erratically, as if confused by contradictory instructions. "It worked," Sungmin shouted. The Daro commander immediately ordered, "Target their propulsion systems while they're disoriented." The Daro ship moved swiftly, firing precise shots at each Vex vessel's engines. Without coordination, the Vex couldn't respond effectively. Within minutes, all 3 enemy ships were drifting, disabled but not destroyed. The Vengeance shuddered violently as it pushed through the shield gap, systems failing across the ship. Tak knew they wouldn't survive another pass. "All hands, prepare for impact," he announced, before turning to Hana. "Target the main power core." The damaged Earth vessel plunged toward the station's central hub, trailing debris and atmosphere. Council point defense weapons tried to destroy the ship, but they had committed too many resources to the outer battle. "For Earth and Valora," Tak said quietly as the station filled their view screen. The impact sent shockwaves through the entire station. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as sections decompressed. The Council's central command chamber, where councilors had been watching the battle with confidence, suddenly plunged into darkness. Outside, the battle raged on. Earth ships were outnumbered, but fought with desperate courage. Whenever a council formation appeared to gain advantage, Valoran stealth vessels would appear from nowhere, striking critical systems before disappearing again. Then something unexpected happened. Several council ships suddenly turned their weapons on their own fleet. Confusion spread through the council forces as more vessels changed sides. Ambassador Rin, commanding a Valoran ship, received a transmission from one of the defecting council captains. "Many of us never supported the genocide," the captain explained, her alien features tight with emotion. "We were afraid to speak against the council leadership, but now we choose to stand with you." As the station's backup systems came online, Councillor Kwan and the remaining leadership found themselves surrounded by their own security forces. "The council's authority is rescinded," announced the chief of security, a veteran who had privately opposed the war from the beginning. "Too much blood has been spilled." 3 days later, representatives from 24 species gathered on what remained of the Council Station. Earth's President Min and Ambassador Rin arrived together to negotiate peace terms. They walked past the wreckage of Admiral Tak's ship, now serving as a makeshift memorial. Crew members had placed Earth and Valoran symbols side by side on the twisted hull. Inside the meeting chamber, former enemies sat together, discussing a new form of galactic governance, one based on consensus rather than control, diversity rather than uniformity. From the ashes of tragedy, we build something better, Rin said, addressing the gathered representatives. Earth taught us to defend ourselves. Now together, we will teach the galaxy a better way to live. President Min nodded in agreement, looking around at the diverse faces. Today we remember those we lost. Billions of Valorans, thousands of humans, and yes, those council forces who died following unjust orders. Their sacrifice demands that what we create now must last. The Galactic Alliance was born that day, founded on principles of sovereignty, mutual respect, and the simple truth that diversity of thought was not something to fear, but to celebrate. 3 days later, representatives from 24 species gathered on what remained of the Council Station. Earth's President Min and Ambassador Rin arrived together to negotiate peace terms. They walked past the wreckage of Admiral Tak's ship, now serving as a makeshift memorial. Crew members had placed Earth and Valoran symbols side by side on the twisted hull. Inside the meeting chamber, former enemies sat together, discussing a new form of galactic governance, one based on consensus rather than control, diversity rather than uniformity. From the ashes of tragedy, we build something better, Rin said, addressing the gathered representatives. Earth taught us to defend ourselves. Now together, we will teach the galaxy a better way to live. President Min nodded in agreement, looking around at the diverse faces. Today we remember those we lost. Billions of Valorans, thousands of humans, and yes, those council forces who died following unjust orders. Their sacrifice demands that what we create now must last. The Galactic Alliance was born that day, founded on principles of sovereignty, mutual respect, and the simple truth that diversity of thought was not something to fear, but to celebrate. The Vengeance shuddered violently as it pushed through the shield gap, systems failing across the ship. Tak knew they wouldn't survive another pass. All hands, prepare for impact, he announced, before turning to Hana. Target the main power core. The damaged Earth vessel plunged toward the station's central hub, trailing debris and atmosphere. Council point defense weapons tried to destroy the ship, but they had committed too many resources to the outer battle. For Earth and Valora, Tak said quietly as the station filled their view screen. The impact sent shockwaves through the entire station. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut as sections decompressed. The Council's central command chamber, where counselors had been watching the battle with confidence, suddenly plunged into darkness. Outside, the battle raged on. Earth ships were outnumbered, but fought with desperate courage. Whenever a council formation appeared to gain advantage, Valoran stealth vessels would appear from nowhere, striking critical systems before disappearing again. Then something unexpected happened. Several council ships suddenly turned their weapons on their own fleet. Confusion spread through the council forces as more vessels changed sides. Ambassador Rin, commanding a Valoran ship, received a transmission from one of the defecting council captains. Many of us never supported the genocide, the captain explained, her alien features tight with emotion. We were afraid to speak against the council leadership, but now we choose to stand with you. As the station's backup systems came online, Councillor Kwan and the remaining leadership found themselves surrounded by their own security forces. The council's authority is rescinded, announced the chief of security, a veteran who had privately opposed the war from the beginning. Too much blood has been spilled. 3 days later, representatives from 24 species gathered on what remained of the council station. Earth's President Min and Ambassador Rin arrived together to negotiate peace terms. They walked past the wreckage of Admiral Tak's ship, now serving as a makeshift memorial. Crew members had placed Earth and Valoran symbols side by side on the twisted hull. Inside the meeting chamber, former enemies sat together, discussing a new form of galactic governance, one based on consensus rather than control, diversity rather than uniformity. From the ashes of tragedy, we build something better, Rin said, addressing the gathered representatives. Earth taught us to defend ourselves. Now together, we will teach the galaxy a better way to live. President Min nodded in agreement, looking around at the diverse faces. Today we remember those we lost, billions of Valorans, thousands of humans, and yes, those council forces who died following unjust orders. Their sacrifice demands that what we create now must last. The Galactic Alliance was born that day, founded on principles of sovereignty, mutual respect, and the simple truth that diversity of thought was not something to fear, but to celebrate.